Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping back in time to explore a moment that is quite literally permanently etched into the memory of an entire nation. We're looking at one of the most gripping, tragic, and absolutely pivotal moments in American history. It's a story of incredible ambition, devastating heartbreak, and harsh lessons learned at the highest possible cost. 73. Just think about that for a second. On January 28, 1986, millions of Americans, from office workers to school children sitting cross-legged on classroom floors, were glued to live television, watching a dream take flight. But in that incredibly short span of time, just 73 seconds, those dreams turned into a sudden, shocking tragedy. So this explainer is all about those 73 seconds and exactly how they changed America forever.
Section 1. America's Space Dream.
By the 1980s, you have to remember, NASA had become this towering symbol of American pride. They had achieved the impossible with the Apollo missions, and they were riding this massive wave of national optimism. The Space Shuttle program promised something genuinely revolutionary. We're talking reusable spacecraft flying frequent missions, making space travel feel, well, remarkably routine. The Shuttle Challenger captured this imagination perfectly, having already completed 9 successful missions as the reliable workhorse of the fleet.
Section 2. The Teacher in Space.
Now, this upcoming launch was slated to be completely unlike any before it, because the crew included an ordinary citizen, a teacher. 11,000. That is the number of applicants who competed for this singular honor. To put that in perspective, that's like filling a minor league baseball stadium with people all vying for one single seat. From that massive pool, a high school teacher from New Hampshire named Christa McAuliffe was chosen to be the very first civilian in space.
She represented hope, curiosity, and the idea that ordinary people could reach extraordinary places. America absolutely fell in love with her story. Kids across the country eagerly anticipated the lessons she was scheduled to teach live, right from orbit. The excitement was just palpable. But, behind the scenes, things were far less perfect.
Section 3. The Ignored Warnings.
While the public was busy celebrating the upcoming launch, there was a very tense, very urgent conversation happening away from the cameras. Engineers had serious concerns centering around a single, seemingly simple component, the O-ring. Think of it as a giant rubber seal designed to securely connect the solid rocket boosters and keep incredibly hot gases from escaping. Well, the night before the launch, temperatures at Cape Canaveral dropped below freezing, and engineers from Morton Thiokol knew with absolute certainty that these low temperatures could severely compromise those rubber seals.
The reality was blunt. If the seal fails, catastrophe follows. Several engineers urgently pleaded with NASA to delay the launch, but the pressure on the agency was mounting rapidly. After multiple frustrating delays already, managers debated the issue late into the night. Tragically, they ignored the warnings. Approval was given. No one in that room knew their decision would soon become one of the most controversial moments in NASA's entire history.
Section 4. 73 seconds.
So, the fateful morning arrives. The freezing night had passed, the sun was shining, and despite the clear, blaring warnings from those late-night debates, the countdown was on. At 11:38 a.m., Challenger lifted off into a clear blue sky. Thousands of people on the ground cheered wildly. Everything, to the naked eye at least, appeared completely normal.
But unseen to those cheering crowds, a terrifying failure was already underway. Just 36 seconds into the flight, a tiny plume of flame appeared near one of the rocket boosters. Nobody watching noticed it, but as the shuttle continued to accelerate rapidly through the atmosphere, pushing against these incredible aerodynamic forces, that damaged, frozen seal only worsened.
73. Exactly 73 seconds after liftoff, a massive explosion ripped across the sky. A bright fireball appeared exactly where the shuttle had been just a split second before. The spacecraft completely disintegrated. Millions of people, including all those expectant schoolchildren watching live, were suddenly watching a horror unfold in real time.
Mission Control sat in stunned silence. Over the television broadcast, NASA commentator Steve Nesbitt's voice echoed across screens nationwide with this devastatingly calm description. Obviously, a major malfunction. It was just a chillingly understated reality for what was instantly one of the darkest days in the history of American spaceflight.
Section 5. Uncovering the truth.
The shock was immediate, but as you'd expect, the demand for answers quickly followed. President Reagan established a special commission to investigate. Among the members was the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman. During a televised hearing, Feynman did something unforgettable. He took a piece of the rubber O-ring material, placed it in a simple glass of ice water, and showed the entire world exactly what those engineers had feared. In the cold water, the rubber lost its flexibility. It became stiff. The cause was undeniable. The freezing weather had caused the O-ring to fail, allowing hot gases to escape and ultimately dooming the Challenger.
This was, at its core, a tragedy of decisions, pressure, and unheeded warnings. The investigation uncovered the devastating truth that this wasn't just some sudden, unavoidable mechanical anomaly. It was a complete systemic failure. The engineers had sounded the alarm, but immense scheduling pressure and severely flawed communication led managers to fatally ignore those vital warnings.
Section 6. A Tragic Legacy. The loss of Challenger brought the entire world to a solemn standstill, and the immediate aftermath revealed a heavy, heavy cost. 7 brave astronauts lost their lives. Heartbreaking memorials were held in schools nationwide, honoring the whole crew, including Christa McAuliffe. NASA suspended all shuttle flights for nearly 3 years, and the incredibly hard-learned lessons of that day forced the agency to completely overhaul its safety and communication procedures from the ground up.
In an attempt to heal a deeply shocked nation, President Ronald Reagan delivered a speech that honestly remains one of the most memorable in American history. He spoke directly to the sorrow of the people, concluding with a profound statement honoring their ultimate sacrifice. The crew, he said, had slipped the surly bonds of Earth to touch the face of God. So, what does this all mean for us today? The core lesson of this explainer, and of that dark day, is crystal clear. Humanity's greatest achievements absolutely demand humility. The Challenger disaster isn't just a historical footnote. It is a permanent, enduring reminder of the devastating consequences of ignoring warnings and letting our ambition blind us to the risks.
Over 40 years later, we are left to ask, how will the courage and endless curiosity of the Challenger crew inspire our next leap into the unknown? Because, while history was violently altered in just 73 seconds, the crew continues to inspire millions. Not because of the tragedy of how they died, but because of what they represented. Courage, curiosity, and an endless desire to explore. Keep that spirit of exploration in mind, and let it inspire you the next time you look up at the stars.